All right, for our second day of catching routine, one of the things we want to do for mobility that we always do with all of our catchers, and it's something that really our catchers, to be honest, kind of hate. It's called our four-corner drill. Legs hurt, but again, we're working on hip mobility, working on getting to the right spot. In addition, we're also working on leg strength as we go. So this is a great drill. We've got our cones set a little bit short. But if you can, you'd really like your cones to be about 30 feet apart. So 30 feet to the right, 30 feet forward, 30 feet left, and then 30 feet back. So the first one that we're going to do, we have two four-corner drills. The first one that we're going to do, Tyler's going to get down in his active stance, and it's going to be a low and slow shuffle. Okay, we're just making sure that his target stays low. Okay, he's going to shuffle all the way over to this corner. Okay, and then as we go forward, then we're going to do forward hops. Okay, so active stance, hop, 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 hop. Good, and then we're going to shuffle back, low and slow. Okay, and then we're going to go backwards hops. So when you first do this, don't be surprised if you're hopping backwards. If you lose your balance and you roll back on your heels, it's teaching you how to not do that. Okay, so Tyler's going to hop backwards here out of an active stance. Notice he's not landing on his heels, he's landing on the balls of his feet. Okay, good. So when you do these drills, make sure, especially when you do the low and slow, the next set that we're going to do, when we do our shuffles, they're going to be faster, they're going to be more athletic. So the first time that we do this, we're really trying to work on building strength within our legs, so that's why we go slow. All right, round two of the four-corner drills. It's going to look very similar, but first thing Tyler's going to do is going to get in his active stance again, and you're going to see his movement be a whole lot quicker, softer feet. Okay, we're working a little bit more on agility here. All right, this is one of our favorites for our hip flexors. Now we're going to go into a duck walk. Okay, so you see as Tyler goes, you're going to see him push his knees down, push them out. We're going to work on really stretching out those hip flexors actively. Okay, and then when we come back here, we're going to go to that quick hop again. Okay, soft feet. And then backwards duck walk. Okay, so never a very easy drill here, but we're working on balance. Okay, as we go backwards on the duck walk. So when we do these two drills again, they are very hard drills, especially for our younger guys. You're going to feel where your balance is off. You're going to feel where your strength is off. Keep doing them. When guys do these, they get a whole lot better catching, and we haven't even focused on catching in baseball because we're making our body be in the right shape. Okay, so today for our receiving, we're going to talk about our primary stance or a relaxed stance. The first thing I always tell our catchers is there really is no proper relaxed stance, or there's no proper primary stance. That's why you'll see catchers catch on 2 feet in a relaxed stance. You'll see catchers drop down to a knee. And really the goal is there's nobody on base. We don't need to block. I don't care if you're 10 years old and a guy throws the ball in the dirt. If you're in a relaxed position, you don't need to block that ball. Worst case scenario, the ball gets by, there's nobody on base, and you put your hand up, you get another ball from the umpire, the on-deck batter can go get the ball. Okay? Our goal when we're in a relaxed position is to catch the ball effectively and get more strikes for our pitchers. Okay? So when we think about catching, I know a lot of times coaches go, hey, I really want to have a guy with a great arm behind the plate. Until you get to a certain age, you're probably not throwing many guys out. And it's not the catcher's fault. It's not that they have a great arm or a weak arm, but pitchers really have not learned how to do a good job holding runners on at first base. So we can be as good as we can be back here. If our pitcher takes more than 1.5 seconds to get the ball to our glove on their first movement, we ain't throwing anybody out anyways. Okay, so when we're in a relaxed position right now, okay, all we want to do is we want to get from the bottom of the zone and be able to catch up and work in and out effectively. So this is the way that Tyler catches out of a relaxed position. Notice that his right hand or his throwing hand is protected. Okay, a lot of guys will kind of set it on their heel there. Okay, and one thing we love catchers to be able to do is we love to be able to have them tap their glove on the ground. Okay, because that shows that we can get to the bottom of the zone. Okay, should be simple, should be still. Okay, the other way that we can catch the bottom of the zone is we can always go down and we can catch down on one knee. So this is how Tyler catches on a knee. He's all the way to the very bottom of the zone. Way easier to get to the bottom of the zone here than on 2 feet. Whichever way you do it, it doesn't really matter. Typically catching down on one knee, we need pitchers with a little bit more command than a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old pitcher. Typically when guys get to high school and pitchers really kind of start to be able to light the zone up the way that we want them to, then catching down on a knee becomes a whole lot more effective. And when we do catch on a knee, there's nothing wrong with it because we don't need to block the ball. We do rely on our pitchers a little bit, but man, when we talk about having a catcher, a guy that can catch a doubleheader, if he can catch 25% of his pitches like that, there's no work in this. There is work being on 2 feet, okay? So Tyler, what we're gonna have you do for the drill today is we're gonna have you catch not on a knee, but on 2 feet, and all we're gonna work on is sways, okay? So we're gonna have Tyler set up at the bottom of the zone, and we're just gonna have him sway like he's catching an inside pitch and then an outside pitch. We're just trying to make sure that our body stays behind the ball as much as possible, and we always want to catch the baseball between our shoulders. So notice that he's working down, okay, and now as he sways back in, we'll start to elevate him in the zone a little bit, okay, and up even a little bit higher to the top of the strike zone, okay, good. And that's a drill, you can go ahead and stand up, Tyler. That's a drill that we'll want to do. Catchers, if you want to learn how to be a really good catcher, you've got to be able to receive first and foremost. More important than blocking, more important than throwing, you've got to be able to catch, because when you receive pitches, you're probably going to do that 70% of the time in a game. Okay, so let's have each of you guys do this drill. 1 minute sways in a relaxed position 3 times, and that'll be your receiving for the day. So today's blocking, we're just going to do block and pop. So when we do these drills, again, we're just trying to work on our quickness, getting down to the ground. So block and pop, Tyler's just going to do 5 right now. Okay, so go ahead and get in your active stance. Tyler, scoot forward just a little bit so you're not on top of that net. Okay, and he's going to block, get up as fast as he can, 5 in a row. Working on leg strength, working on mobility, working on getting down to the ground, working on getting our glove in the ground. And that's a stationary block and pop drill. So another way to do our block and pop drill is we're going to lay out 5 baseballs here, or 10 baseballs, or how far we want to go down the row. But when we're laying these out, these are just reference points, so you're going to block even with each of these. After you block, you'll take a step forward, block. When we do block, we always want to get a little bit of ground forward. We really never want to go straight down, unless if we're going to get beat to the ground, we just have to get down. But most of the time, we're going to gain a little bit of ground as we move forward. So Tyler, do a set of 5 here. Okay, and the whole time we're checking to make sure he's not sitting on his backside. He's got 45-degree angle, his gloves to the ground, and his chin's down. Okay, for today's throwing, for our second day, we're going to talk about our transfer a little bit. When we transfer, our transfers are never going to be in the exact same spot. We can practice in that way, but it's not very realistic to a game. So when we think about transferring, we have to understand sometimes the pitch is going to be elevated, and when the ball is elevated, our transfer should be a little bit quicker up to our ear. We want to let that ball travel, get it up to our shoulder, get it up to our ear, good strong front side. However, a lot of times as you start to move, that ball is going to be down in the zone. In that situation, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to bring that ball all the way up here. If you watch most catchers, when they get really quick, you'll actually see them dump the ball down into their hand, and then their hand comes up. So that's what we call the dump. Okay, so Tyler's going to do 5 with elevated fastballs, and then 5 lower fastballs. Okay. We're just watching that front side get strong. We're seeing a little bit of shoulder turn here. We're looking fingers down. We pull that back to the ear. Okay, now we can go down to the dump position. Okay, roll it down into an open hand right off the hip. Okay. 2 more. That's good. And we really need to practice both of those, like I said, because in a game we don't know what we're always going to get. One thing that you want to look for is when that hand is open and you dump that ball in your hand, there's a lot less chance of having a transfer error than when we have to go from here directly up to our ear. We've got to be almost perfect with this. That hand is wide open right off the hip, so it's very easy to transfer out of this position.